So good morning. Yesterday we saw how to create a file and how to write into a file using your Java code. Today we will see how to read from a file. Okay, how to read from a file. Before that, let me just create a file. Let me create a file in my C colon. Okay, I'll just create a notepad file. New text document, and I'll type in test 123, test 123, ABC 123, XYZ. Okay, I've created a file. Okay, so let's see. If you have a file, how do you read matter from the file? Okay, now just like you write into a file, reading also should happen inside a try catch block. Okay, now hope you remember file output stream. File output stream. Okay, file output stream we will be using to write data, to output data onto your file. Okay, now we are planning to read data. Now when you're planning to read data, you should be using the file input stream. To read data, you should be using the file input stream. Okay, so we'll create a file input stream. File input is equal to new file input stream. I'll have a path, let's say C. I have a file called test123.txt. Okay. Now I am planning to read from this particular file test123. Okay, now I'm going to read things one by one. Now reading from a file, you can be using a function called read. Fin, that was my file input stream. Read is a method. I can read with the help of fin. Okay, so I'll just assign something. I'm reading each and every character one by one. Now the problem with fin read is whatever text you are having in your file, it will be read as bytes, or read as byte by byte. Okay, so fin.read, when you use the method called read, even though you have characters or special symbols or whatever in your file, it will be read only byte, as a byte. Okay, so I'll just declare int ch, ch will be an integer because byte by byte reading is happening. Now you do not want things to be displayed as bytes. You want it to be displayed as characters. You want to display it as characters. All the characters you want to be displaying. So I'll put my code inside a while loop. Okay, while ch, I'll have to go from the beginning till the end of my file. Now end of the file, it will be -1, -1th byte. -1th byte means the end of your file. Okay, so I will go on doing my business until I reach the end of the file. But as we know, ch is a byte. You need to convert it to a character. To convert it to a character, we have learned something called typecasting. Okay, so we'll typecast ch. We will typecast ch. I'll write over here. F is equal to character ch, and then here I will write character f. Okay, now each byte which I have read from my file, I go on till the end of my file, and then each and every byte I am converting it to a character. Now these characters, I can I can do an SOP. Okay, so I'll write an SOP, Control S. Okay, now I am displaying my SOP. I'll have to go on reading on and on. So I'll just have the statement again over here. Okay, which means now I've read the entire content of my file, and now I am displaying it onto my console. So here what I've done is I've done a typecasting. I've done a typecasting, and here I am reading the remaining. I'm reading the remaining. Here what I've done is I just read the first byte. Okay, the first byte I read, I checked whether it was end of file. I did a typecasting, I printed it, and then the second, third, fourth, fifth, until the end of the file, I will have to go reading on and on and on. Okay, I'll save my program. Okay, I've compiled my file, javac, and I've read all the content in my file. But now look here, I'll just take up my file. I'll just open up my D. Where did I save it? C, right? C, test 1, 2, 3. No, this was my file. Can you see my notepad?
No, ma'am.
Can you see my notepad now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this was my file. I had ABC 1, 2, 3 XYZ, but I have a small problem in my output. Everything went to the next line. I'll just correct my SOP. I'll just correct my SOP. Hope you can see my program. I gave you a println. Println wasn't needed. Print is needed because I'll need it in a single go. Okay, I'll save my program. I'll compile it once again. Okay, so that was my perfect file. Okay, now we are going to do how do you read it line by line. Earlier what we saw is character by character. Now there are two ways in which you can do. Two ways in which you can read line by line. Okay, first we will see method 1, after which we will see method 2. I will show you the difficult method first, where you have lots of lines of code, and then we'll go for an easier method. Okay, so that you get to know about the beauty of the easier method. First, we'll have the difficult method first. Okay, difficult, but this is a nice method. You will open up your file. You are opening up a file, or I can say, I am opening a connection to my file test 123.txt. Okay, now I've created fin. With the help of fin, I am opening up a connection to my file. Now you have to create, you're planning to read in. Okay, you are planning to read in, so you can have an input stream reader. To read the stream, your file is now open. You will have to read in the stream of data. So I'll write ISR. Okay, I'll just give a name. ISR is equal to new input stream, new input stream. From where should I read? From my fin, because fin is the connection to my file. I am creating now an input stream reader. Okay, I am creating an input stream reader. Now once I have created an input stream, thank you. Once I have created an input stream reader, you've got to read it with the help of a buffer. Okay, so I will need a buffered input reader. I'm going to read it, buffered input reader. Okay, I'll just give a name, say reader. Reader is equal to new, Control C, Control V, buffered input reader of what? Of my ISR. Okay, so Now you will be, with the help of this reader, with the help of the buffered input reader, you will be able to read line by line. Okay, I simply give a method reader dot read line. I will be able to read each and every line in my file. This is one way in which you can read. Okay, you first create a connection to your file. Then with the help of the input stream reader and the buffered input stream reader, you can read. This is one method. This is one method which you can do. Okay. There is even a second method. There is a second method which you will find very, very easy. You can directly read from your file input stream. Okay. To directly read from your file input stream, you can simply write buffered reader. You can use the buffered reader. Let's say I'll give the same name, reader equal to new buffered reader, and then I open up new file reader. I read my file, and then I'll just go for the easy things. And then I give my file path. Okay, just check my brackets. Yeah, perfect. Okay, this is another way in which you can do. This is method 1. This is method 2. Okay, now whichever you use method 1 or method 2, you are reading lines. Now the lines which you read, they will always be of type string. Even though you have numbers, the lines which you read, they will be of data type string. Okay, I'll just delete off this code. Okay, because I'm not going to do characters anymore. I am planning to do lines. Okay, now I've read things. I've read the first line now. Now what I've done is I have read the first line. Now think of a file. Think of my earlier file, ABC123XYZ. I've got to read from the top, from the first line, go on and on and on, and go until the last line. Agreed, Gayatri? Each and every line I need to read. So here all what I've done is I have read the first line. Now I need to go on reading all the remaining lines. So I'll just have a loop over here while lines not equal to null. I go on and on until I find no more lines. Okay, I will be going on and on until I find no more lines in my program. So I'll have while lines is not equal to null. Null means there will be something over it. Is even though a space is considered, that is also not equal to null. Equal to null means it is the end of the file. I'll read each and every line. I'll just have a counter over here. Int line count. Int line count is equal to 0. Okay. Int line count is equal to 0. I read each and every line. I will be incrementing my line. Line count is equal to line count plus 1, which means I've incremented each time I encounter a line, I increment by line count by 1. I'll have an SOP. Out of my while loop. Control C. I'll have an SOP over here. Line count is plus line count. Line count is plus line count. Okay, I've just read the first line. I need to read even the remaining lines. So I'll have this code over here. Control C. Okay, which means incremented, and then I go on to read the next line, which means I will be reading each line one by one. Okay, we will even calculate the word count. So I will have a word count counter. Word count is equal to 0. Int word count is equal to 0. Okay, now I'm even going to calculate my lines. Okay, now look here, I'll just show you a simple example. This is an apple, this is an orange. Okay, I say this is my line 1, and this is my line 2. Agreed? Imagine I have a file, I have a word or a text or whatever, a notepad. I've got 2 lines. One is this is an apple. This is an apple. I do an SOP lines, I will get this is an apple. Okay, instead of doing earlier we did character by character display. Here you can directly give SOP lines. You will get this is an apple, this is an orange, and so on. And you will even get the line count is equal to 2. Now you need to get each word. Now words over here are nothing but this is a word, this is a word, okay, if is a word, and is a word, and apple is a word, and so on, even for orange, and so on, even for orange. I'll just talk about my one line. Okay, so this is a line. Each of these are words. Now, when you do the read line function, you have a method called split. Method called split. Okay, now what will the split do? Split will take up a line and then split each word where the delimiter is space. Hope you know what is a delimiter. Delimiter means, a separating character. Wherever you have space, it is encountered as a word. Okay. Now look here. It goes on reading from here. Beginning. THIS. Space is encountered, which means, all what I read till now, it is one word. Okay. Then I read IS, and then I have a space, which means, just recently, what did I read? I read IS, that is a word. Okay, then I go AN, I encounter a space, which means, AN is a word. Apple, I've encountered either a space or a new line, which means apple is a word. Okay, so that is how Java recognizes words with the help of a method called split, where the default delimiter is space. Where the default delimiter is space. Okay, now let's split your line. You have lines. Now all what you want to do is you are splitting lines. Lines dot split. Lines dot split. Split up your lines. You have to give over here the delimiter split. Okay. Okay, which means, I'm using the default delimiter split. Now, when you split this particular line, you will be getting 4 words. Okay, so I'll just name it in something called words. Okay, you will be getting words. Words will be in an array. The words you will be getting, it will be in a string array. Okay, so now you have read your line. You're splitting your line with the help of the space delimiter, and you are storing it in an array called words. Okay, word count now you can easily calculate. You need the count of the words. Okay, word count is equal to word count plus, all you have to do is you have now an array words. You have an array where you have 4 elements. This is an apple. Take the length of this array. Take the length of this array. You will get the number of words. Take the length of your words array. Words. Okay. You have an array. This is your words array. This is my words array. Okay. This is my words array. This I now have if. I even have an. I even have apple. Okay. Now this is my array. This is my words array. All what I've gone to do is word count is equal to word count plus words dot length. I'll even give an SOP. Control C, Control V. Word count is word count. Okay, all what I've done is I've splitted it up, put it into an array, and now I'm finding out the words dot length. I'll save my program. Just check my brackets before I execute. Catch, yeah, looks fine. I'll just save my program. Okay, are you able to see the output? I'll tell you what was the error earlier. Are you able to see the output? I had a line count of 3, and I even had a word count of 3. 3 lines and 3 words. Gayatri, is the output okay for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll come back to my program. I'll show you where the array had the error. Now look here, this particular line, no, splitting, I gave it over here. Now what happened is, even when it encountered null, I was telling them to read. Put that over here. Okay, when you read the line itself, ഓരോ ലൈന് വായിച്ചിട്ട് തന്നെ അത് സ്പ്ലിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ഞാനിപ്പോൾ എന്നാ ചെയ്തെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഒരു ലൈൻ വായിച്ചു, പിന്നെ ഈ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആയിരുന്നു എനിക്ക് വേറൊരു ലൈൻ വായിക്കാൻ. അപ്പൊ ഫയല് എൻഡ് വരെ എത്തിക്കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോഴേക്കും ഒരു എക്സ്ട്രാ ഇല്ലാത്ത സാധനം വായിക്കാൻ പറയുമായിരുന്നു എന്നോട്. പിടികിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, സോ ദാറ്റ് സ്പ്ലിറ്റ് ലൈൻ ഹാവ് ഇറ്റ് ബിഫോർ യുവർ റീഡ് ലൈൻ. ഇനിയിപ്പം നൾ എക്സെപ്ഷൻ വരത്തില്ല, ഇനിയിപ്പം നൾ പോയിന്റർ എക്സെപ്ഷൻ വരത്തില്ല. Okay, it won't come because now reading is now perfect. Are you able to get me? Okay, so please have the program. Take it once again. Okay, ഞാൻ എഴുതിയ ഫ്ലോയിൽ ഓർഡർ നോക്കിയില്ല. Okay, so you can get the line count and the word count. You can even find the character count. You know how to do it. Or